How did a high school talent show in Sugar Land spark a successful career in planning epic events? My name is Freddy Cruz. Welcome to another episode of Cruz through HTX, a podcast which explores the individuals, businesses, and organizations that make the greater Houston area great. And today I'm joined by Roger Igo. He invited me to his place, the Bell Tower on 34th. It's a venue that creates unforgettable moments for weddings and corporate events alike. During this episode, Roger and I talk about the different kinds of wedding crashers, unexpected issues, how he and his team plan for the unexpected by creating drama avatars like drunk guests and uninvited attendees, with a hilarious example of one such incident. If you enjoyed this episode as much as I did putting it together for you, please consider sharing and subscribing to the show from my website, cruisethroughhtx.com.
Hi, I'm Ed Sheeran. This is Bruno Mars.
Hey, it's Katy Perry.
This is your man Flo Rida with Freddie Cruz.
This is AJ Mitchell with Freddie Cruz.
Freddie Cruz.
Freddie Cruz.
Tell let you go pick Mr. 305 and you already know what it is.
My name is Freddy, and it's time to cruise through HTX. Share with me the first event that blew your mind that you organized.
The first event that blew my mind that I organized, it was the high school talent show. So that was, I guess I wouldn't say I organized the whole deal, but I was definitely part of the talent. This talent show was set up so that the stage side band, Johnny Carson style,
Okay.
I was in the stage side band. But then also one of the garage bands in the school asked me to sit in and be a part of their performance. So I got to be kind of dual duty. And I was kind of on the committee that was forming like what the style of the show was going to be and how it was going to, what the format was going to be. So we arrived at this Johnny Carson thing. Johnny Carson, for the young listeners is, or the young viewers, it's like pre-Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
Kind of the same kind of format. And so I just remember that was one of the very first events where it was an event that I did or had a major part in the production of it. And it was one of the very first events I did where I basically went down in history into the I don't know, the legend of the talent show of high
The
school.
legend of Roger Igo,
Yeah.
everybody. What high school?
It was Clements High School in Sugar Land, Texas.
Okay. Is that where you went to high school?
That is. I went to high school there, but the talent show was at Dulles High School at Rogers Auditorium.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
It's like it's meant to be.
Yes.
Rogers Auditorium.
It is. That's
You know?
right. My auditorium.
And so let's talk about the Bell Tower on 34th. It's a small world, Roger, because, we are at the time of this recording about, 2 weeks out from Hurricane Beryl. And about 2 or 3 months ago, we had the windstorm. What do they call that? The derecho?
Yes, I was out of town. I was in Europe.
Okay.
So I was doing a Frito event between London and Paris.
Yeah.
For Frito-Lay.
And there was an event here, and my daughter, 19, on a date with her boyfriend, and I didn't know. I think this was before we got introduced to each other by our friend Karen.
Yep.
This was beforehand. Well, when I told them, oh, yeah, I'm meeting with Roger. By the way, he owns this really cool place called the Bell Tower on 34th. Oh, that was where Jacob and I went the night of the really bad storm, and we got stranded. And yeah.
Wow. Small world.
Small world, yeah. But I mean, the Bell Tower on 34th has such a history, whether it's weddings or corporate events. And so how much influence would you say did that event at Rogers Auditorium have on you wanting to put together events for people, and it's going to have this lasting sort of legacy for them?
Yeah, so I would say a big part of it, I got into this, I just saw other operators that were really, I always said to myself, I can do better. I can do way better. And so events were run poorly, and I think venues were run poorly. Maybe there's the top 1%, and when I say the top 1%, I mean, it's the Super Bowl, or it's the Indy 500, or major sporting events, or major, the Grammys and the Emmys. Those are major events, the top 1% of events, and I felt like that needed to be brought to Houston, and it's not something, you don't see events that size and magnitude, but even small events can be amazing and epic and go down in history. And I wanted that for people. And so that is my approach to events. I have a certain framework, and I like to use that in the production of the events that I'm involved with. So yes, I didn't know it at the time of the high school talent show, but I still use very much of a similar approach, perspective, and since then the framework has evolved, but that's really been, I don't know what to say, the genesis of what we do today, but it was certainly the early beginning of it.
I love your approach to organizing because I've watched some of your YouTube videos and I told you this before we started recording, you're very coachy.
Yeah.
In your approach to outlining and organizing and such. So talk about so for someone who's going to be getting married and they're thinking about, hey, this place looks amazing.
Yeah, so there are so many elements. I don't want to confuse anybody out there, but it's about memories. People want to have a good memory. They want connections, the everlasting connections, and the memories that go down in history and events that everyone remembers. And I realized with my own wedding, there was certainly lots of special guests and special people in our lives, some of them who are still in our lives today, but there are many who are at the wedding that we don't keep in touch anymore. So it was it the connections or was it the memories? And what I realized is it's really the memories. So that's a major part of what we do is we start with the memories in mind. What is the outcome? What are the memories? What do you want people to remember? And then we work backwards.
Reverse engineering. And that's something that it's so important, especially if you want to achieve something big. It's like, okay, what is the end goal? Like, okay, you're going to get married. And of course, everyone wants an amazing and memorable wedding. But like, what is the actual end goal? Is it to be able to have something that every single one of your family members is going to enjoy and cherish 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the line? Those relatives, those sort of ancillary relatives, the second aunts, the third aunts, the neighbors, the friend of your mom's who, well, we weren't planning on inviting them, but as a compromise, we are going to, and we have been friendly with them since we were kids. And so, yes, we've known of them for a long time. So it's all about including everybody and making it something that everyone can.
Well, you hope that everybody you invite has a good time. They remember the event. We want everybody to say something like, "I was there."
Yeah,
like I was there that night.
You talk about the Super Bowl. It's like, I was at Roger's wedding.
Yeah.
25 years ago, and that was incredible.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like that night, we did a concert, and I'm a saxophone player, and there was a night where I found myself on the bar at Yaga's that night in Galveston in the middle of my solo. And then, so still today, there's people that will say, I was there.
I was at Yaga's that night that Roger Iga was on the bar, completely sober, by the way, playing the saxophone. What was the solo?
The song was Dance to the Music. And maybe it was the Isley Brothers, Who's That Lady, or something. I actually don't remember the song, but I remember the moment.
The memory. But it's all about the memory.
Yeah.
And that's what you do like here at the Bell Tower on 34th. Right. It's more than, the beautiful venue. It is, wow, breathtaking when you walk through those doors. How long did it take for you to get to this? Because I know Rome wasn't built in a day.
Well, we still work on it. It's definitely a lot of maintenance. We have a good team, and so we continue to work on air, music, sound, lights, focus on the five senses, first impression, last impression, the components that go into the framework for lasting and memorable events for everyone who attends every event. And we hope that also includes the wait staff, the servers, the guests, the technicians, the vendors. We want every event to be memorable. So how long did it take? We work on it every day, and we'll probably never finish. Yeah.
You're so modest because this place is, I kid you not, it's breathtaking. I've actually never been here. I drove through. I thought I was like, I thought it was like a Hollywood set or something.
Yes, I think it's in some of our marketing. It's like something out of a movie set, and that's really is. We want to have, when you build your floor plan, we call that the set design. The timeline, it's like a mini script. So there are many references to, like the people who put on the events. They're called event producers, like you might think of in a movie.
Let's talk about things with an event or a wedding that are outside of our control, that don't have anything to do with the weather. So let's say a rowdy event goer or attendee at a wedding. And what kind of role does the production team play in sort of mitigating the negative impact of it? How do you make that part go away?
Yeah, so we incorporate those. There's a list of drama avatars. So we prepare for the 911 emergency, or the person that overconsumed, or the relative that wants to steal the show, or that wants to be the hero, or they want the limelight for whatever reason. Yeah. There's the dare I say, the wedding crashers, because there's the intentional wedding crashers, and then there's the unintentional wedding crashers. All of these are the drama avatars. So we use that kind of as some performance judo we do, where when something unexpected happens, we try to work that into the story arc to work for the advantage of the memory, because the goal is the memory. So an example might be the kid on the dance floor that's he's not supposed to be drinking, but he's overdoing it. Well, we drop him to the floor, roll him up in the carpet, and pull the carpet out, and then usher the carpet out like a little drunk boy carpet sausage thing, and we just take them out, and then they're excused with security outside and the cops. But then everyone remembers, number one, wow, how fast and efficient that was. But then also, I'm never going to forget that, because that was crazy.
The guy was rolled up in the carpet and
then gone. Yes,
that is all. Okay, so I want to go to. You said performance judo. I've never heard that. One, and two, never heard that in the context of playing an event or a wedding.
It's like the hero's journey, right? You've got the villain or the anti-hero, and then you've got the subplot. So maybe the hero's journey is how they met, and this are they going to make it as a couple? And the ceremony was beautiful, and then the climax of the night, and they cut the cake, and then they live happily ever after. The subplot is those guys over there brought some alcohol to the dressing room, and they shouldn't have, and those girls outside with the cigars, and there's like these other little annoying little subplot storylines that get worked into the story of the night. Some of it is to my surprise, some of it is intended, some of it is for the memory of it. It's like writing something silly or funny you thought in the back of the kid's yearbook. And then years later, you're kind of embarrassed because I can't believe I wrote that in the kid's yearbook or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
So, but it's still part of the memory. So there's just elements throughout the night, and you try to control the energy line, and you've got the attention grabbers and the new sensory plane, and there's just all kinds of other elements and components that we design into the night.
All right, based on your experience with all these weddings that you have helped coordinate and host here at the Bell Tower, what relative is most likely to be the attention grabber?
That's a hard one. I'd say I wouldn't specify a particular relative.
Okay.
It could be, the attention grabber sometimes could be, she's a little overweight. She's got high heels on that are way too tall, and the skirt is too tight.
Almost an unintentional attention grabber.
So she's had too much to drink, and she's carrying the water-filled vase out and splashes water everywhere, and in her, a little inebriated, and falls and breaks her leg and sues me for $1 million.
Has that happened?
That's happened.
Oh, no.
And that's definitely an attention grabber, unintentional, try to... maybe she wasn't trying to steal the show, but she definitely did steal the show.
Yeah, whether she wanted to or not.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. They say that you really, truly haven't hit it unless you've been sued.
Well, I think one's enough.
Yeah, man. Okay, so the unintentional attention grabber, and then something else you talked about: intentional wedding crashers.
Sure. Mom and dad, maybe, or somebody involved in the planning, maybe they decide they're going to bring in their own vendor. Don't tell the couple.
Ooh.
And it's the girl who gets the dance floor started.
Okay.
Or maybe it's his side is kind of boring, and so make sure you chat up some of the guests that look like they're fish out of water or not having a good time. Make sure everybody has a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a good little element to add some jazz and to spice it up, and to help keep the party going.
And then how does somebody accidentally crash a wedding? Do they do Freddy and Roger go and they're like bored because the bar they went to was not happening enough? They stumble upon this place and then they just stay?
So the unintentional party crashers are the ones that are in the event, but they weren't invited. It's the uninvited guests.
Okay.
So we've had uninvited guests that get through. It might be a bird. A bird could be an uninvited guest that flew in to the event and is creating chaos and is distracting from the event.
Destroyed the cake.
Or it could be an ex-boyfriend or an ex-girlfriend that decided they're coming anyway. So we have had, you've got to post the picture and make sure that security doesn't let them come in.
Yeah.
And so there's ways to handle that. And it gets worked into the event if it gets, if it goes too far. It gets worked into the story of the night.
What is a celebrity wedding that you read about, that maybe you saw a video or both, that you're like, we could have done that way better?
Well, there are many, but my focus is really on helping to educate venues and planners and event doers on how to do events like that. And typically the ones that are the celebrity events that are out there, they've got the top 1%. And they're well done. Many of them are well done. I will say maybe we could have done a royal wedding that happened recently, but I don't want to name any names.
Fair enough.
But I don't know to the size and magnitude that they do. But I think from a decor and energy, on the energy slope standpoint, some of those, like the royal, it was just boring to me. I think it could have been less boring.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
So for anybody who wants to learn more about the Bell Tower on 34th, whether it's a corporate event or a wedding reception, how can they learn more about what you got going on?
Well, if you want to get a hold of us, you just go to the belltower34th.com, or you can go to rogerigo.com, and we'll get you started. It's, it's all about finding out what the vision for your event is, and then what outcome, and then we kind of reverse engineer it. We work backwards, and we have our very own special approach on how to accomplish that.
Roger, my man, I really appreciate you letting me crash your venue for this episode of Cruz Through HTX.
I enjoyed it. It's been a blast.
I think you're going to keep my mic and headphones, man.
I love these. These are really cool.
Hey, it's me. I'm back with a quick little nudge. If you enjoyed this podcast as much as I did putting it together for you, then please leave a review on your favorite podcast platform and subscribe to the newsletter at cruzthroughhtx.com and share with your family and friends. Thank you.